Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we got our first roster update in MLB The Show 21. So we'll break down all of the biggest risers and fallers when it comes to the live series overalls in Diamond Dynasty. And if you're coming over from the NHL side of things, they will do a roster update. And again, the live series cards, the diamonds, gold, silvers, bronze, those will all update determined based on real life events. So we'll take a look at some of that, and it heavily impacts the market, especially the cards that go from silver to bronze or silver to gold and gold to diamond, obviously. So again, we'll break into that. We also got a new headliner and a new space pack, a ton of new BR rewards that we're going to discuss. So we've got a lot to talk about. Let's get into the new content. So first things first, let's take a look at the new ratings that are now in the show. So if you go in the main screen, guys, again, for anyone that's a beginner and doesn't really know, the easiest way to do this, hit up on the directional pad or the thumbstick and go to the roster update. You'll now see the new roster transactions and call-ups, 330 plus player upgrades and downgrades, player attribute updates every 2 weeks. So this is for today, April 30th. And again, we'll take a look at the biggest risers and fallers. So you can actually go and see here, you can sort by the highest overall. Mike Trout went up +1, DeGrom +2, Acuna +2, but we'll take a look at the biggest, the guys that received the highest increase, and again, you can sort over here. So we'll start with the risers. The Ryan Weathers card goes up to 70 overall, previously at 57 for the San Diego Padres. Michael Kopech goes up +11 from 65 to 90, from 65 to 76. Kendall Graveman, Adam Plutko, Fede, Jake Junis, Sam Coonrod, Sam Haggerty as well gets a +8. So again, guys, you can go in through, just search here and you'll be able to go through the whole list and see. Red Sox, my man Garrett Whitlock went up +8. He's been really good out of the bullpen so far for my Red Sox. Jazz Chisholm gets a +7. He has been electric so far, and as well as Yermán Mercedes with that insane start. So again, guys, you can just go through here and see all of the biggest additions in terms of the highest risers. Now, again, on the flip side, you can also see the highest fallers. So Tarek Skubal goes down -8. Zach Lother, he goes down -7. Jose Quintana goes from 75 overall to 68. Those are the kind of the bigger ones. We'll take a look and see if there's any other ones that kind of stand out here. But yeah, just again, it's an awesome feature that they have in this game. And Lourdes Gurriel goes from an 82 gold to a 78 silver. And this, again, will impact heavily the live series collections that you put together to make the David Ortiz, Soriano, as well as the Chipper Jones. So again, that will have some heavy impacts there, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But again, guys, I love this feature in the game, and just thought I would show all the beginners and highlight some of the biggest risers and fallers in the show so far. So quickly, guys, we'll talk about the biggest implications when it comes to completing these sets, the live series collections. One of the bigger ones, again, while there is guys that rise in price, there's also guys that fall. So Jose Abreu fell out of being a diamond, and now he only goes, you can buy him now for 8K. So again, those are the cards that, are valuable there in terms of just a value that, you can buy now. The biggest one, in my opinion, that I saw so far, just, off the cuff, was Byron Buxton becoming an 87 overall diamond, as he's now up to 14K to buy. Thankfully, I had him earlier, but obviously his price went up quite a bit now to actually complete the Minnesota Twins set. One of the bigger ones now, the National League, is getting awfully difficult to complete, as Ronald Acuna went up to a 92, and now he's all the way up to 179,000 stubs by now, which is just insane when you consider the other National League players that you're going to have to go out and get, like DeGrom, who also now is a 93. He's 139K. It's just awfully expensive when you also include the Dodgers there. So from anyone, just again, from a beginner standpoint, what I did was I sold all my cards that I didn't need, and I was able to get Mike Trout, because I think the American League's a bit easier to complete. And obviously, again, if you're a beginner, the reason why you do that is so that you can get the 99 David Ortiz, obviously one of the best hitters in the game right now and one of my favorite players. So I just wanted to touch on the market implications so far from this April 30th update. So we also got new Topps daily moments. If you've watched my beginner videos early on, these are a great way to get some really usable cards early on, especially if you're free to play. So if you go to single player modes and click on moments, you'll see the 6 cards highlighted here that are now in the Topps daily moments here. So they highlighted by the 87 Paul DeYoung, and the 86 J. Happ from the Twins, as well as Nick Madrigal, Mickey Moniak, Robel Garcia, and Andrew Knapp. And again, you can acquire all of these cards, or there's a choice between some of them that you can actually get. And again, you go to the moments section, and then you go down to the Topps Now 2021, and you can choose which one. So obviously now it's April 19th to the 25th. You do all of these challenges, and you will get to choose between those top end cards, with Paul DeYoung probably being the one that I would go after. But yeah, there is quite a few options here. And if you haven't done these ones so far, guys, if you're free to play at the beginning of the game, make sure you do them, man. It's free, good, usable cards that you can use on your bench or starters, so make sure you take advantage of that. Take a look now at the new headliner. So these are the 7,500 stubs packs that you can get 5 of, with an increased chance to get the headliner item, and it is the 92 overall Ivan Rodriguez. Obviously, having a high overall catcher early on is advantageous, so you don't have to worry about the position for basically the rest of the game. Great defensively as well, so very easy to pick people off if the guys that have had some of the the higher speed guys. There isn't a ton of them out there yet, like Billy Hamilton. Byron Buxton's 99, I believe, in speed as well, and Trey Turner. But outside of that, there's not a ton of cards you're going to see that have the 99 speed. So again, someone with 90, the arm strength and whatnot is very valuable, so that you can actually throw them out. But in terms of just at the plate, his contact, again, is very good. 81 against righties and 122 against lefties. He absolutely mashes them. So again, if you haven't seen my hitting video and what the attributes do, I have an attributes video that explains what all of these do. But again, that just helps increase the PCI size to really queue up those hits. Power at 67 and 60, not all that great. And then again, all of his other stats in terms of at the plate, kind of middling. But again, his defensively is where he's really going to shine as well in terms of his contact. I personally wouldn't really want to invest in him. And again, I've talked about this in the past, that these cards, unless you've got the live series collection done, I would much rather use the stubs that I get to complete the live series collection, so that you can work towards getting the 399s, the Alfonso Soriano, David Ortiz, and then Chipper Jones. These cards, they might be used in a random set at some point in the year, but just don't have that same amount of value. Now, if you're, you have no intention of actually going after the live series collection, then these are the kind of cards that you obviously want to spend your stubs on, but just going to be a little expensive here, and not really worth it in my opinion. Also got the Space 3 set, which comes with a bunch of different options here. The 92 Joey Votto, one of my favorite players, growing up, or over the last while, basically decade there, with 99 contact against righties, 80 against lefties, and really good hitting stats all the way around. So a really good, solid first baseman. Doesn't really offer much else, like his fielding. Fielding really doesn't matter at first base, but he can't play any other position, and there's a lot that makes it tough. And for any card to only have one position really kind of hamstrings things a little bit. But really good at the plate all the way around. You really can't go wrong with him there. But again, a card that I probably wouldn't invest in unless, I think that there's just better first baseman available for free, even in just the Team Affinity set. So this would be a pass. Also got the 90 overall Julio Rodriguez. He's a really well-built right fielder, but again, it's very tough for fielders to stand out in this game because there's so many that play all three positions essentially. However, he's a phenomenal fielder. 81 fielding, 85 arm accuracy, 83 arm accuracy, 85 arm strength, and then contact is really good. 92 against righties, 84 against lefties, and then power as well. Really hammers lefties well with 93 power there. So a really good card at the plate. There is quite a few good outfielders though, so again, you're gonna have to weigh the pros and cons of being able to go and get a free, just Kyle Lewis or Joey Gallo, someone like that. Like, I'd probably still rather have them, although he is extremely well-rounded at the plate with the 90 Julio Rodriguez. And we've got the 91 Cavan Biggio from the Blue Jays, a really cool looking card. Like, I love the card art here. Lots of roster flexibility here. A second baseman, first, left, and right. Phenomenal contact, 91-83. Power against righties is awesome at 98. Lefties, his power is 59, so that does give him kind of take a big hit there. Defense is pretty good, and speed, again, very, very nice as well at 76 and 77 for stealing. And again, with the secondary position options there, this is a nice card. Again, it might be a bench guy for a lot of people, but obviously with that lefty matchup, not nearly as strong as he is against righties. So keep that in mind when going after the Cavan Biggio. Moving on, we've got the 87 Jim Edmonds, and this is the exact opposite. So, the same thing, kind of just a much bigger extreme. 96 contact against righties, 94 power against righties, but his lefty at bats is just awfully tough. Center fielder, first and left and right eligible. Defense is great. 93 fielding, 82 arm strength, 82 arm accuracy, speed 61, which isn't awful. I showed you guys the video of my review of Albert Pujols. Same kind of situation there. Not terrible. Not going to leg out the ground balls, but he's not awful. And again, but this is what you look for in a bench bat, anyone that can come off the bench and really hammer righty pitchers. And early on in the game, especially for beginner players, I wouldn't really recommend investing in a specialist essentially. So we've got the 87 at Grayson Rodriguez, starting pitcher with a sinker, changeup, slider, curveball, and four-seamer. Really nice splits. I talked about this in my attributes video as well. 95 on the sinker and 96 on the fastball in terms of velocity. That changeup, 15 mile an hour difference. Those are awesome splits. That is how you're really going to keep opponents off balance there. Stamina at 91, so again, he's going to play a lot better in ranked seasons. So if you're now thinking about taking on ranked seasons, whereas events, stamina is really not going to matter because you're going to want to change out pitchers quite a bit. The hits per 9 at 84 is okay. 86 K per 9 is nice again, so that will lower the outer PCI, so your opponent can't really foul off things as much. 60 walks per 9, but again, that stat really only improves or decreases the ability to actually use whatever pitching method you're using. So if you use pure analog and you're good at it, it really doesn't mean all that much to have that stat impacted. And then home run per 9 is obviously not going to play into online play. 96 velocity and 91 break. This could be a gross card. And again, you'll have to take a look at what he goes for right now. But I really, really like his pitch mix. And then his control, not nearly as nice as the velocity and discrepancy there. 85 on the sinker, 80 on the changeup, the curveball and slider. There's very little control at 75 and 70. And then the pitch break, that slider at 91 is really nice. But I really like the makeup of this card, and I'm probably going to try him out in ranked seasons. Moving on, we've got the 88 Eddie Murray. And again, he's a pure first baseman and no power, which again, tough from that position, but 99 contact against righties, 88 against lefties. And then again, fielding and speed, nothing. It's first base. There's much better options in my opinion. It's all going to be swing based if you like his swing, which is again a huge thing about MLB is that it's a lot of preference in there. But I just think there are better options for you at first base, and especially you want to take advantage of all the guys that have huge power. Moving on, next we've got the 88 Tom Mankey with a closer pitcher with a four-seamer, a fork, and a slider. I'm usually not a huge fan of it's tough because the fork ball it usually comes in really weird. So that means that he only has really one pitch that comes in straight, and that's usually the ones that are easy to tee up. If you're playing and you're starting to recognize pitches, a slider obviously looks like a breaking pitch is going to look much different than a fastball. But 98 miles an hour and then 85 on the slider is nice in that sense. The control 91 on the fastball, slider at 66, and the pitch break only at 69 on the slider. His K per 9 is incredible, meaning that the PCI is there. The opponents are really going to have to be on the money, have the PCI in place for when they're actually trying to hit you. And the hits per 9 is great as well. So those stats are incredible, but I really don't like the pitch mix, and the control and break is kind of tough as well. It all depends on that fork ball, and if you have to see if you can locate and use that effectively. And lastly, we've got the 87 Riley Green, the right fielder with left and center eligible as well. Again, same kind of thing. So contact is great at 88, 91 for righties and lefties, but then power's down to 72 and 68. Power is just extremely important, especially for beginners, in my opinion, just because you're not going to get a ton of hits, and you need to make sure your hits count. Now, fielding-wise, he's really good at 81 fielding, 79 and 78 arm strength and accuracy, respectively, and his speed's not bad at 67. But again, guys, you can go and do the team affinity cards and just get far better outfielders there. So this one will be a pass, in my opinion, as well. So we also got a brand new Battle Royale program. And again, if you're getting into a BR, this is definitely going to be advantageous. So if you can get down to 90 BR points, the 93 Roberto Clemente with 106 contact against righties, 117 against lefties. His power is still obviously pretty low at 61 and 70. Vision at 78 is great. Fielding is basically maxed as well. So obviously a really good fielder and someone that you can have at the top of your lineup to just make sure you get on base. But yeah, the 93, I'm not going to lie, the 85, his swing, I just could not get going. It felt awfully empty, even when you got the contact on it for line drives, not just home runs, obviously, but I wasn't a huge fan of it, but his stats alone and defensive abilities are really, really nice. So you can get him at 90 overall. And then you can see the newer choice packs, if you can get all the way to the end, that's for 100. This 94 George Brett card is gross. So, third base, just third base, no other eligibility. Contacts 106 and 103, and then that power against righties is 90, but his vision's 97, which is really nice too. I've heard great things about him in past games, and he looks like a really, really good card as well for the 94 overall George Brett from the BR Rewards. So guys, that is going to do it for me today, covering all the new content. There is a ton there, so if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. And this is just the current team that I'm using right now. I've only played a few ranked season games. I've been focusing offline, just building the team. Or Jordan Alvarez with the new Mike Trout. I love Bryce Harper's swing, guys. I've got him to parallel 4 with Joey Gallo at first, Max Muncy at second. Xander, I haven't really enjoyed, but I haven't really found a shortstop I really like. And then the Albert Pujols from the Conquest Rewards is one of my favorite hitters so far, with JT Real Muto behind the plate. And then in the pitching staff, we've got the 95 Frank Tanana from finishing the Angels program, as well as the Mariners. I am proud to say that I was one of the first people to get the Felix Hernandez to the level 5 parallel, and then Garrett Cole, Sixto, and Pedro. And one last thing, guys, Mariano Rivera online for me has been absolutely insane. You see the stats here: 25 innings pitched, 0.72 ERA with 23 strikeouts. He has been electric for me. It is just so hard to hit his cutter. So if you want to invest in him, you got to buy him in the auction house, unless you took him as a pre-order reward. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So guys, thanks again for watching. Please subscribe for daily MLB content. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.